How's it going, guys? Vaibhav here and welcome to a video talking about Apple Glass. I made a video about this a couple of months ago and since then a lot has changed. In particular, I want to talk about two patents that Apple has filed, and I feel like Apple Glass in general could be what the iPhone was 10 years ago. And I say that because Apple is slowly but surely diluting the value of the iPhone. Let's take a look at the iPhone 12 Pro Max, for example. A couple of years ago, the Pro Max used to give us the best value for money or the best set of features, but this year, you can get pretty much identical features with the iPhone 12 mini or the iPhone 12 vanilla edition. You don't even have to go for the Pro or the Pro Max. So I feel like the value of the iPhone is slowly being diluted and it's making space for Apple Glass, which I think, as I said, is the future for Apple. Okay, so let's start off with the first patent I've seen, which is basically the iPhone slotting into Apple Glass, and you have yourself a product right there. Now, there are a number of benefits to this because Apple slowly but surely is also introducing AR cameras onto their flagship devices. So maybe in the future, Apple does plan on making the iPhone becoming compatible with Apple Glass. But I feel like that just brings about a whole load of different problems, including the fact that Apple Glass would then be very, very heavy. I think when you wear glasses, you want them to be as light as possible, and slotting in an iPhone 12 Pro Max right up in your face isn't going to make the experience very comfortable. Just from my experience of wearing glasses, even 3D glasses on top of the regular glasses, it just makes it really, really heavy for long-term use. So I don't see that becoming a possibility. Plus the wires, maybe you'd have to slot in the iPhone to a wire, let's say a lightning connector or a Type-C USB port, or if we're being futuristic, maybe some sort of MagSafe connection on the glasses that connects the phone to the glasses, but then you're entirely dependent on the iPhone. You don't have that flexibility of using a phone side by side with the glasses. So I don't feel like that is sort of the direction that Apple should take, and I hope they don't take that direction. On the other hand, the other patent basically tells us that Apple Glass is going to be on its own ecosystem and the iPhone is going to be on its own ecosystem as well. And I hope Apple sort of figured out all the security reasons behind why Google Glass really failed, and that's why they can bring it to consumers. But let's talk about this. The 5nm processor is now on the iPhone series, and it was rumored back in 2018 that Apple Glass was supposed to have a 5nm processor, and there it is. So that part is pretty much sorted. Now, the other thing that is being discussed is whether or not the iPhone still retains the same level of importance, which I don't think is going to be the case. I think the iPhone is definitely going to fall down the pecking order for Apple, and Apple Glass is going to take a lot of priority. I feel like Apple's sort of going to skip on the foldable series in general and just move into augmented reality and use Apple Glass. So you're going to have things like a full display right in front of you without the other people noticing, and you can control it via gestures, all of that stuff. I talked about this in my previous video, and Apple Glass is basically going to work on its own, and the iPhone is just going to be there as a side product, maybe for your occasional pictures. But then again, Apple Glass would be able to do that anyway. So I don't think the iPhone is going to tie into that ecosystem. And one of the cool patents that I want to discuss is how the lenses on Apple Glass will basically allow you to change the brightness levels of both your eyes and what you're focusing on. And this sounds very, very crazy, but hear me out. If you have an object and you're staring right in front of it, you want to focus on that object, correct? So what Apple Glass is going to help you do is basically dim out the surroundings and brighten up the object in a way that you focus on it a bit more. And this sounds really weird, but let's take a look at the vignette effect, for example, where everything on the side becomes darker and you stare on one particular thing on screen. I feel like that's going to be what the Apple Glass is going to bring. And again, as I mentioned, the 5nm processor is going to really help with that. Plus Apple's computational photography and how it does portrait photos in real time already and portrait videos. I think like we're gonna see a similar effect, not that pronounced, but we're gonna see it for colors. Apparently you can do this for eyes separately, so you could have maybe the dimming on just the left eye and the right eye is going to be absolutely normal. I feel like this is really gonna change how we view the universe and sort of our perspectives on the world in general. And I think that's why Apple is really focusing on it, and that's why Apple wants to be there at the forefront of it so that they could be the ones to change the world once again. So those were my thoughts on Apple Glass. I feel like it is going to be the future as long as they get over the security flaws. So for example, if you're, let's say, in a movie theater, Apple Glass wouldn't be able to record the movie. It sort of knows that you're watching a movie and it stops you from recording. These kind of things really have to be looked into by Apple, and only then can they roll out Apple Glass on a consumer level, because otherwise it's just going to be misused, which Apple doesn't want, which any of the consumers don't want either. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. This was Vaibhav, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.